What is up, everybody? What is going on? Welcome to Eagles Post Game Live. It's your boy Dobbs, Mr. Crockpot on Twitter. Eagles get the W 34-10. Move to 8-7 on the season. The Eagles playoff chances are real. Today we're breaking down our top takeaways from the Eagles win over the New York Giants. We're going to give a player of the game. We're going to grade Jalen Hurts. We're going to grade the team overall. To help me do that, I'm going over to my left side, I guess, if you're it's backwards on StreamYard. He is Ty Book. What's going on, Ty?
What's going on, everybody? Chris, I wasn't here last week. The new intro's dope.
Hey!
Nice.
Yo.
I don't know if you had it last week or if this is the first week, but that's great, man.
Love it, man. Appreciate it. And then we've got my man. He's back from Colorado. He is Shane. Follow him on Twitter at @halfandhalf_TPL. What's up, Shane?
What's up, man? It feels good to be back. It feels good to watch a game live and get a win, especially over the Giants. So
Absolutely.
I'm excited to break it down.
Let's break it down because I think my man Rob is joining at some point. He'll be on momentarily. But, man, this was just straight up the tale of two halves. Eagles, again, got the W 34-10. 3 points in the first half, 31 points in the second half. And you can't, this is we pride ourselves at the paint lines with no bullshit. We're going to call it as it is. We're not going to rah-rah tell you that the Eagles are going, on their way to win a Super Bowl here. There were some issues here in this game that go well beyond the box score of what you see. You look at Jalen Hurts, 102.5 quarterback rating in this game. That's not what this game indicated. So let's break it down in this first half. The Eagles had 2 fumbles on the first 2 possessions. They had 4 first downs total in the first quarter from both teams here. The Eagles were 0-4 on third down. They had 29 rushing yards in the quarter. After coming into this game, 175 rushing yards in 7 straight games, 214 rushing yards a game, 13 touchdowns the last 7 games here. You looked at that 3rd and goal, and Jalen Hurts misses Dallas Goedert wide open in the end zone in that first half. You look at a horrific defensive holding penalty on 3rd and 12 that gives the Giants a new set of downs that keeps the momentum away from the Eagles heading into the second half. Aside from a couple of decent runs from Miles Sanders, who just got hurt, by the way, the run game was really, truly ineffective in that first half. You saw the Giants clearly sell out to stop the run and make Hurts beat them. Jalen Hurts was clearly incapable of doing so and making them pay. And you look kind of to summarize that first half, and we have to talk about it. To summarize it, it was brutal. You had drops. You had off-target throws. You had tons of bad quarterback decisions. The coaching was poor. On the other side, defensively, you had no periodic blitzing again, especially against an inexperienced opposing quarterback. You would think you would really focus on doing that to kind of rattle him a bit. We saw that in successive weeks. It didn't happen. A lot went wrong, much to their own doing, much to their, just shooting themselves in the foot. And really, truly, the main takeaway I had in this first half was Devonte Smith. This dude will be a 1,500-yard receiver if we had a competent pocket passer. And then sure enough, everything kind of like the floodgates opened here in that second half where you had an interception. You had Alex Singleton interception return for a touchdown. And that really broke open the game here for the Eagles. So let's just really start from the beginning because we have to talk about it. We have to address the elephant in the room. Ty, what was your take on the first half and what happened leading into the second?
Well, I started to drink really heavily, if you really want me to be honest. But I was really excited in the first defensive drive. Gannon sent pressure twice in the first drive, and then it just disappeared. It was like, okay, we're going to do it in the first drive, and then it's not going to come back. Hurts was not good. They tried to throw the ball entirely too much in the first half. I really was just surprised against a team that is so inefficient against the run. Howard was apparently healthy. Sanders is healthy. Scott's healthy. Why they're not pounding the rock? Hurts did not look as quick. I mean, the sprained ankle I don't think is fully healed. So why they wouldn't lean on that, I don't understand. I think we figured out 19 attempts in the first half. I had 14 attempts going into like the second drive of the second quarter. And just I was really disappointed with the play calling. Defensively, I thought they were bland early, but I thought they did an okay job. Late, they brought some pressure. They made some bigger plays, but yeah, just a really tough first half to watch.
What about you, Shane?
Not
Yeah, the first half was brutal. I mean, you fumble the opening kickoff, first play from scrimmage is a drop, you get a strip sack, your defense gets a 3 and out, and you lose yardage on the punt return. It was just atrocious football at the start of the game. And the defense I thought played well in the first half. I've never even heard of a defensive holding call on a run play. Never seen that before in my life. But I thought the defense played really well. The offense and special teams were both just atrocious in the first half.
Yeah. And then everything kind of just you just saw kind of the Giants, and unfortunately the Eagles cannot go up against the Jake Fromms. They cannot go up against the Mike Glannons every single week moving forward. But surely enough, the Eagles put a hurting on the Giants here in that second half, 31-7 in the second half. Jalen Hurts ended the game 17 of 29, nearly 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, 7 yards on the ground, which has got to be a season low for him. I have to imagine there. Let's go to Shane. What was your quick thoughts on Jalen Hurts' overall performance?
I thought Jalen Hurts played pretty poorly today. I mean, the first half, there were some drops in there, but he got the strip sack. He should have thrown a pick on the first drive. He got really lucky on that one. Overall, his stats don't look bad now, 17 of 29 for 199 yards and 2 touchdowns, but 85 yards of that came on wide open deep balls to Devonte Smith and Quez Watkins that he made bad throws on, and the receivers bailed him out. So overall, you look at Jalen Hurts, and the strength has been him running the ball, not as a passer, and he didn't run today. I think the ankle's still bothering him. I thought he was woefully inefficient as a passer, and there's a reason that the Eagles put up 30-something unanswered points when they stopped trying to ask him to throw the football.
Absolutely. What about you, Ty?
I really thought when the Eagles came out and scored in the second half that the Giants quit. I don't think Jalen Hurts' numbers speak to Jalen Hurts as much as they do to the Giants today. I agree with Shane. He was really inefficient today. Like he said, I said earlier, I think the ankle's still there. I don't think he threw the football well today. There were 1 or 2 passes where I was like, okay, yeah, that's a elite throw, but 2 passes in a game against a team like the Giants, that's not enough. But yeah, all in all, I was not impressed with Hurts today. I don't think anybody would have been great today. Honestly, they maybe Minshew would have been better, but I don't even want to get into that conversation. You're right out for the end of the year. If they make the playoffs, we talked about it before, get the experience and see what happens.
I hate to beat down a solid win. They beat the Giants 34-10.
Right.
On paper, that looks great. But dude, even the throws to Devonte Smith, even the throw to Quez Watkins downfield, dude, that ball was more on the receivers than it was on Jalen Hurts. No question. Hey, Chris, right, guys?
Can I throw something in here real quick? Did anybody watch the Green Bay game last night?
No, I was drinking at a Christmas party.
Okay, so I got 2 kids. We were home. They were playing with their toys, and I could watch some TV. And listen, Aaron Rodgers might be one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. Really good. I can't understand how, if that's how good you are when you're one of the best ever, how you can be that much worse as an NFL quarterback. Does that make sense? Do you understand what I'm saying? I feel like NFL quarterback and greatest of all time shouldn't be as far apart as they are from Jalen Hurts to what Aaron Rodgers does. And then it's even scarier when you go Jalen Hurts to what Matthew Stafford does. I'd like to see him just be able to throw the football better, obviously. But
down the field, it looks. I made a tweet. I called him a noodle arm on Twitter.
Yeah,
that's what it looks like when he throws that ball. It's a lazy throw. The ball doesn't get there on time, and half of the freaking time, he misses or makes his reactions are too late. The ball should have been delivered way much faster. in the pocket. His reading through progressions in this game, especially in that first half, were god awful. God awful.
Look at this one.
Out of like different plays. Like it was a bad performance.
This first hitch is when the ball should be coming out. He pulls it down, he hitches, and then he throws it.
That's exactly right, Shane. That's exactly right.
Yeah. I'm waiting for Twitter to give us the second half stats. That's what I'm like doing. I'm multitasking. I want to see what the difference is because
all right. So just to kill a couple seconds, can I just make a comment on Jonathan Vilma? I'm sorry. That man is stealing money. Maybe the worst color commentary I've heard ever. He's awful. Like, I'm sorry. Like, if I felt the need to put a tweet out about it on the Painted Lines page, that's when you know it's bad. Like, I try to be like super, between the lines, right? Awful. He said at one point he was like, Jesus Christ, that was terrible on national TV. And then he was like, oh, that guy's got to be pissed. It's like, dude, not only are your takes terrible, but you don't even realize that you're on Fox right now. Like, stop. Like, you're not on the Painted Lines, post game show where maybe the F-bomb falls out of your mouth. Like, oh, it was awful.
There was a play, the throw to Quez Watkins. I have a video of it. If you go and rewatch that, you just look at Jalen Hurts wind up and throw. Like, the ball is halfway in the air, and he goes, ugh. Like, it was such a disgusting throw.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's whatever. It is what it is.
I just can't handle Vilma. That was bad. I didn't realize it was that bad. Somebody told me a couple weeks ago that they had Vilma for a game. And they were like, oh, he was just so terrible. I'm like, oh, he was a good linebacker. When he played, maybe, I don't know. Awful. Yeah. I'm out.
Let's go into the defense here. We got to talk about, FYI, let's go to the comments here. Flyers legend, love the name there. I'm glad I streamed Merrill. Too many bad announcers out there. That is a smart guy right there.
Darn right.
Very smart guy. Clint Moore says, I feel like the Giants were loading up the box and daring the Birds to pass. That's what they were doing. I mean, that's the way. But I agree, Ty. Like, that's the Eagles kind of did that to themselves a little bit.
You better get used to it because that's what every team that ever plays them is going to do when Jalen Hurts is the quarterback.
You should.
Well,
but the Eagles also pass, and then they ran for 15 yards for Miles Sanders. Then he had another 13-yard run, and then pass.
But it's also what they're going to do when Miles Sanders is in the game. When Miles Sanders is in the game, they run outside the tackles, right? Because the box is loaded and Sanders is gonna try and bump to the outside. I feel like the interpretation could be used better. Okay, I don't think that it needs to be a drive to drive type of thing. And Shane, you might be able to speak to this. You take way better notes than I do. I just feel like if they were to mix up Howard and Sanders a little bit better in drive, it would help them change the defensive look.
Yeah, I think so. And I think also, I mean, you can't just strictly have one running back that's going to run zone read and get outside the tackles and one that's always going to go up the middle. It's too big of a key. Like, they've got to do a better job of running the same concepts with both guys on the field. It doesn't mean you don't play to their strengths, but it's a little obvious what sort of runs are coming based on the personnel in the game.
Yeah, Shane is always so good at making what I say sound so much better. Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Did anybody and it's kind of terrible to say, but like the fact that Sanders left and Howard came, the more Howard I think is better for the Eagles than more Sanders. Like Miles Sanders is not a north-south runner. Jordan Howard is he's a much better fit for this offense. And we've been saying it on these shows for a long time.
I agree. So, and Shane, what I meant to say is how you articulate what I was trying to get out there better than I do. I appreciate that always. I agree with you, Chris, but I also agree that they can use both of them as much as they do. They just need to not make it a drive-to-drive thing. For the Eagles, it always seems like Sanders is in for a drive, and then it's Howard in for a drive. Maybe it switches on third down. But I would like to see, like, I mean, if you're going to run receivers in and out on each play, why not just change running backs on plays?
Yeah.
Right now, I get that some guys are rhythm runners and stuff like that, but I would just like to see them change that up a little bit. Now, they did try and hit Howard out of the backfield a couple more times than I'm used to seeing on plays that they normally run with Sanders, which is great. But I really think Howard is the guy that kind of sets the tone north and south.
100%.
And Sanders is a nice player, and I don't think he's ever going to be a marquee back. He just doesn't stay on the field.
Yep.
But neither does Howard. So,
any final thoughts on the? Oh no. We have to grade Jalen Hurts. I'll throw it to Shane. Shane, what's your quick grade on Jalen Hurts today?
D. I opened the game poorly, missing throws, missing reads. Should have had 2 turnovers in the first 2 drives, if not for a dropped interception and Dallas Goedert recovering that fumble. He misses Goddard in the end zone on that wide open TD. His stats end up looking fine, but it was because of 2 really good plays by receivers on pretty poor throws.
100%. What about you, Ty?
Yeah, I'm right there with the D. I don't want to be too hard on the kid. They're winning football games when he plays. You know, and he's a second-year guy. So maybe I'm just expecting too much. But that first half is inexcusable. It just is. There's no excuse for some of the throws he missed, some of the reads he made. And then in the second half, the Giants didn't show up. I mean, the Giants went home. When they went 3 and out on the first drive of the second half and the Eagles went down and scored, that was it. The Giants, they knew, that whole team knew that Mike Glennon and Jake Fromm were not going to bring them back from a deficit, right?
Yeah.
And as a athlete, when you're in a game where you're like, I'm counting on a guy I know can't do it, it's really hard to bring everything you've got. And I just thought the Giants quit. I put it out on Twitter, and I waited a little while. I didn't say it right after the first touchdown, but after that first touchdown of the second half, I was like, they're done. They're down now, and they don't have any confidence in what they have.
Yeah, you look at that third quarter. You had a Rodney Cloud interception, followed by pressure from Jernard Avery. You had an Eagles touchdown by Boston Scott. Then you had on the other end, you had a monster sack by Milton Williams. Another huge tackle by Jernard Avery, a great return from Jalen Reagor, and then a field goal made it 13-3. And then Mike Glennon comes in, and then you had the Devonte Smith touchdown here in that third quarter, made it 20-3. And that was like it. Like that was the nail in the coffin after that. They were done.
Any of you guys ever seen that happen on that Devonte Smith touchdown?
Where he reversed the double reverse?
The reverse? I've never seen that before.
Yeah. I think they saw my tweet with the screenshot where he had both feet in, and then they're like, "Oh, we can't do that."
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get it. Let's get in this defense because we've been talking about the offense for way too long. We're nearly 20 minutes in already. But the defense over the last several weeks has been playing much better. Again, of course, not great competition, especially at the quarterback position. But Mike Glennon, 17 of 27. For 93 yards, an interception. Jake Fromm had 25 yards passing for an interception. They only had 84 rushing on the ground. The Eagles' rushing defense has been outstanding as of late. Real quick thoughts, Ty, on this Eagles defense, which has gotten better and better as the season has progressed.
Well, Glennon's simplified, and Shane will probably be able to speak to this better than I can. But I just don't notice him leaving people out to dry like early in the year when everybody had to count on the majority of the team following their roles. I thought Jernard Avery played really well today. I thought Josh Sweat played really well today. I thought the defensive backs played pretty well against subpar receivers. But right now it's who they're playing, right? I mean, they played Jake Fromm and Mike Glennon. Last week they played John Doe and Jane Doe. I mean, let's just be honest here, right? Like, they came out of a bye. They had to play on a Tuesday night. They were gifted, what Washington had available because of it being a Tuesday night. And then, not that Daniel Jones is Tom Brady or Michael Vick or anybody like that, but he's better than both the guys they had out there today, right? So, I'm gonna make those guys make mistakes, right? As a defensive coordinator, I'm looking at that like I'll send a little pressure here and there to get him a little rattled, and then see if maybe that just gets his rabbit ears up a little bit. So yeah, the defense played well today. I was really impressed with Jannard Avery. I know we're going to talk about player of the game at some point. I thought that's the best game he's played in an Eagles uniform. But all in all, defense played well against what they were playing against.
Yeah, you look at this, like we just talked about how the Eagles kind of like went for the jugular there in that third quarter. The Giants had 24 yards of offense between the start of the third quarter until the Eagles were up 34-3. 24 yards of offense. That was it. They I don't know if the Giants quit or what. We'll break it down as the week progresses here and we look further into the tape. Shane, what was your take on today's defense?
Yeah, I mean, the defense looked good. They were playing Jake Fromm and Mike Glennon. I mean, if you go back and you look at our schedule, the teams that the Eagles have beat, look at the quarterbacks. They beat Fromm and Glennon. We've beat Garrett Gilbert, Zach Wilson, Trevor Siemian, Teddy Bridgewater, Jared Goff, Sam Darnold, and Matt Ryan.
Playoffs!
We've lost to Jimmy G, Dak Prescott, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Derek Carr, Justin Herbert, and Daniel Jones. Like, we've literally lost to every semi-decent quarterback we've played. And so I'm not going to anoint the defense. I mean, the defense did what they should have done playing a college football team today. They shut them down. We'll see if they can do it again next week against Washington, see if they can do it against Dallas and on into a playoff run. So I'm not going to criticize the defense. I thought they played a good game, but you've got to consider the competition to some degree.
100%. And I like seeing the Eagles' third down defense get better and better as the season progressed. They held the Giants to 8 of 20 on third downs this week. That's something that I have been looking at. I like when the Eagles get teams to third and longs and they're finally able to get pressure on the quarterback. That's when this team really thrives. Like, we don't see too many blitzes from this team, but when they're able to keep opposing teams to those third and long situations, that's when we see results. So we'll see what that means moving forward here. But let's go into player of the game. Ty, who's your player of the game?
I think my player of the game is Jannard Avery. I'm not going to jump on the random. I'm going to jump on the random guy. I just thought he played really well. He didn't play all the time, but he was out there. He made a couple big plays, and why not? We haven't talked about him in the 3 years he's been an Eagle.
For me, it's Devonte Smith. I'm going Devonte here. 5 catches for 80 yards and a touchdown. I thought he was just terrific in this game. That touchdown he had was unbelievable. His ability to maintain balance. We haven't had a receiver like that probably since Jeremy Maclin. It's been a while. It's been a freaking while, and that's like the main takeaway from this game is like, if the Eagles had someone that could stay in the pocket and see the field, go through his progressions, and find guys down the middle deep and throw the ball on time to his receivers, Devonte Smith's stats this year would be absolutely astronomical. So that's my main take. That's my player of the game. Devonte Smith, man, was terrific today. What about you, Shane?
I don't know what that was. I'm going to give mine to Rodney McLeod.
I feel like that comment was for me.
It must be, because I don't even know what that means.
John Watts is the director of Spider-Man. So.
I would guess I should have guessed it was something nerdy like that.
Oh man, he is the player of the year for me, because that movie was amazing.
I'm gonna give mine to Rodney McLeod. He gets the pick 6 on that opening drive, or not a pick. He gets an interception on the Giants' first drive of the second half, gives the ball to the Eagles with the 21, and then he was primarily responsible for that pick 6 by Alex Singleton. He's the one that breaks that up, and it gets the bounce into Singleton. So Rodney McLeod played a good game. And it's been a while since we've seen him make an impact on a game like that. It's probably going to be his last year with the Eagles. Nice to see him get a good game like that.
Yeah, especially I just want to give me a second here. The Giants defense is really good at withholding the big plays. You had a 46-yarder here to Devonte. You had a 39-yarder to Quez. On the other end, defensively, you look at this Eagles secondary. They held Tony to just 28 yards, a long of 8. Galladay had a long of 11. Devontae Booker had a long of 9. So, like, all the best receivers here for the Giants really didn't do much down the field. I mean, that speaks to the quality of quarterback that is playing for the New York Giants, but the Eagles did a good job here. And they should have had another interception if the Sun didn't freaking block Darius Slay there. That was a clear interception. Yeah, Ty.
I got to point out, my player of the game was Jannard Avery just because it got him in there. But let's not forget Lane Johnson scored a touchdown.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Yeah, let's not forget about that.
Love it. I love the they're making fun of him that he couldn't jump into the stands.
Yeah.
That was great. Lane Johnson had his first career touchdown. All right. And let's wrap it up. Team grades. How would you grade today's overall performance? I'll throw it to you, Shane.
Here, I'm throwing the Lane Johnson touchdown up here. Overall team performance, I'll give it like a B. I mean, they were playing a really poorly quarterbacked team. The defense did what they need to, and the offense played half of a game. So you're not going to get an A from me, but you get a B. Exciting situation now is the Vikings lost. If the Dolphins can pull off a victory over the Saints tomorrow night, all the Eagles would need to do is win next week against Washington and have the Vikings lose to the Packers, which seems likely, and they would clinch before Week 18. So big deal for the Eagles to win this week. And, especially on 4 days rest, that's something that's not really talked about as much as I thought it would be. We talked about it a lot in the lead up to the Tuesday game, but they were doing this off of 4 days rest, definite rest disadvantage. And I'm glad we got that out of the way and move on.
Oh yeah. How about you, Ty?
I like the B. That's a good call. I just am floored that this team is in a position to make the playoffs. I really am. It speaks to how good some of the teams in the NFC are and how bad some of the teams in the NFC are. So I'll be excited to watch next week and see what they do against Washington. But yeah, a B. I thought the offense played one half of football. I thought the coaching was really poor in the first half on the offensive side. I'd like to see a team that can make some adjustments walking into the second half. But it looks more and more like that they're going to have an opportunity to get some playoff experience, and who knows what happens when that happens.
Which is unbelievable considering they were what, like 2-5, just a second ago. So I'll go a little bit lower. I'll give them a C+. Yeah, 34 to 10 is nice and all, but I can't ignore that first half. I can't ignore some of the things I've been seeing from Jalen Hurts, even though you look at the box score, it looks nice. That's not the case. We're like, this entire premise of the season is big picture. And big picture wise, I'm just not seeing that progression from Jalen Hurts where I want to see. He just continues to miss wide open receivers. He continues to show very little pocket awareness, and that deep ball is just not there for Jalen Hurts. It is just not there. You look at, the Eagles' remaining schedule. They have Washington. That is at Washington. And then they play Dallas, who will likely probably have clinched then and will probably be sitting or resting a lot of players. Could the Eagles, finish the season 10-7? Ty, is that your gut feeling here?
No, I think they end up 9-8. I think they lose next week. I know that sounds terrible. I'm not trying to be a pessimist. I think they lose next week and they beat Dallas, resting their starters in week 18. I hope that's not the case. I hope they go out and win next week. Sanders going down at the end of the game looks like he was in a cast on the sideline. Couldn't tell, but it looks like he was in a cast. And then Jordan Howard going out with, as Vilma said, maybe a stinger. I don't know. He was favoring the one shoulder. He's never been a guy who seemed to walk out of a game and then come back the following week. He seems to miss multiple weeks. So if we walk into that Washington game as Boston Scott and Gainwell as our only backs, I don't like our odds.
What about you, Shane?
I think it's more likely they beat Washington next week and then lose to Dallas. And unless Dallas doesn't have anything to play for, which maybe they won't. Maybe
They won't.
It's too hard to tell. They may want to play for a certain matchup. I mean, the 1 seed's not on the table for them, and they've already wrapped up the division. So it'll just come down to if there's somebody they want to play or not, and if that will matter. My biggest question for next week is I want to know if the Eagles are going to take their own benches to FedEx Field.
Love it. Love it. All right, let's wrap it up. Ty, where can we find you, man? What do you got going on?
So you can find me at PTP 2021 podcast tomorrow at 3 p.m. on the Painted Lines YouTube channel, Facebook, and Twitch. We're hoping to have Dalton Rowe on, a former Virginia Tech defensive tackle that does a bunch of TikTok videos about how he could beat people in a fight. He's going to talk about how he could beat Bryson DeChambeau in a fight because Bryson's just a punk. And then we're going to talk about a bunch of other cool stuff like what hypothetical things golfers ask for Christmas and what their New Year's resolutions are. So the joke is Patrick Reed wants to get a cloaking device so people don't see him cheat. So check us out. We'll be there at 3 o'clock tomorrow. And then the following week at 3 o'clock, we'll finally have a tournament to talk about. And I think we're going to have another guest then, which we're pretty excited about, but we'll keep that for the podcast to announce that. So check us out tomorrow at 3.
Love it, love it, love it. What about you, Shane?
You can follow me on Twitter at _TPL. Follow Chalk Talk. It's on Apple Podcast Store. I think it's on Spotify too. You can check it out on YouTube as well. We took like a week and a half off because I was traveling, but I'll be back in with Mark this week doing the review and preview stuff as we start to head into the playoffs.
And I'm going to just throw this up here. It's been a wild 2 weeks, man. It's been a wild 2 weeks. We've had Spider-Man. We've had Hawkeye. There's been a lot to talk about regarding the MCU. So it's kind of nice that that's kind of now calming down a little bit. I feel like I've done a show like every single night over the last 2 weeks on nerd content. So, but here we are. John Watts, man, he is the true player of the game. He did such a marvelous job.
So good.
Did you see it, Ty?
We went and saw it on Friday night. Yeah, we were pumped.
Oh, I love it. I like that you loved it. So, yeah, no spoilers. Got to see it. See it with your family. See it with your friends. See it with your partners. It's a movie you cannot not see in the theater with everyone. That is a movie of the year for sure. Yeah, you've already seen a ton of highlights here at the Painted Lines YouTube channel from this game. This game kept me busy, especially the second half. I've got the Jalen Hurts highlight reel coming out momentarily. Devonte Smith, Dallas Goedert, you name it, as always. So thank you, everyone, for watching. Yes, Ty.
Shane, I got to ask Shane, if Howard and Sanders don't play next week, do you still feel the same that they'll beat Washington?
No. I mean, so much is just on that running game. So you got to hope at least one of them comes back. I know Howard had the stinger. It was a couple of years ago when he was with the Eagles, and it like sidelined him most of the rest of the year. So hopefully that's like not the case.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, Chris. I just had to ask.
and you know, it's amazing how like weeks fluctuate, because literally like a week ago, you know, I was sitting here and I was getting ready for a Malik Willis quarterback scouting report, and a week ago I was like, they probably will like bring back Jalen Hurts next year, and maybe not Malik Willis. I still think they will pass on Malik Willis for sure. But I'm getting ready for a Kenny Pickett scouting report here in the near future. So I will have a QB series of all the top NFL draft quarterbacks dropping over the next several weeks. I'm really excited for that, with highlight reels and video breakdowns and stats and all that kind of stuff. So I know Jalen Hurts on paper had a really good game, but if you look at this team big picture, I'm not sure where he is. Vote Ben Simmons for the All-Star game. I'm not going there. All right. But I just want to say thank you, everyone, for watching. I hope everyone had a happy and safe Christmas, and again, a happy and safe New Year's coming here. We'll be back every single Eagles game. As always, follow my man Ty on Twitter at TyBuck3. Follow the Pull the Pin podcast. Check him out tomorrow at 3 p.m. East Coast time. My man Shane down there, he is at _TPL, has an amazing football podcast called Chalk Talk with my man Mark Henry Jr. They break it down, sports betting tips, true analysis of everything you need to know, previews, reviews that will be dropping. Again, thank you everyone for watching. Stay awesome, everyone.